couple of reports of large hail and also wind damage. But really the big story was this morning. For you in Cincinnati, of course, you know what that is with that tornado that moved through Cincinnati. It started early in the morning, and what we're looking at here, the red line, that is the track of the supercell thunderstorm. And these are the warning times from the National Weather Service. 3:43 a.m. The tornado didn't really move into Cincinnati until 5 a.m. to 5:45 in that region there. So ample warning as this tornado or this thunderstorm, which dropped tornadoes, moved right on through the metro area. There were fatalities, of course, and many people were injured, and many houses were totally leveled or extensively damaged. So this morning started out very rough areas of Ohio. Looking at the situation now, that storm heading east. We are still dealing with some severe weather, primarily Delaware, eastern Maryland, and now southeastern and south central Virginia. Here's the setup to the north. It's cold. When you have cold weather, that robs the thunderstorms of energy. So we're not looking for severe storms, for instance, around New York or really down to Philadelphia. But when you start to get moisture levels 50, that's sort of marginal around D.C., the dew point, typically 50s into the 60s, more abundant for these storms to form. That's where you look for the severe weather. That's why we're most interested in areas like southeastern Virginia. Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, still has a couple of watches. I suspect very soon that this watch is just going to be cut totally away, because down to Baltimore and D.C., I think you're out of the threat. But down the Tidewater in Richmond, right now, you're seeing these storms. So the primary threat will be the eastern shore of Maryland, southeast Virginia, south central Virginia, and maybe northern North Carolina. Here's the satellite photograph, and look at all the yellows here. That is telling us that the cloud tops are cooling, and in a situation like this where we're looking at thunderstorms building up, the colder the cloud tops, the more action, the more vigorous upward motion. So that is why we're looking at with a good deal of interest through Maryland, Delaware, down to southeast Virginia. Big view of the radar showing the storms building up out across the northern Chesapeake, over right across Richmond at the present time. Closer examination, we have a nasty storm heading toward Salisbury, practically right up along the border of Delaware and Maryland. Probably some large hail, maybe damaging winds with this one. Over to Dover, you'll see some storms coming in. And right now, right on down to Richmond, this is heading down close to South Boston. That one may have some large hail too. It's all heading southeast down toward the Tidewater. Closer view, D.C. to Baltimore, your threat now over with. Coming up next here at the Weather Channel, out from the Forecast Center, much more about severe weather from Richmond all the way up through Delaware.
A pre-dawn tornado ravages the Ohio Valley, leaving a trail of death and destruction. Now a new line of thunderstorms targets the mid-Atlantic. Be prepared. Watch Weather Center just ahead.